Will your kids follow Jesus when they leave the house? Whether they are leaving for a couple of hours to go hang out with friends or leaving for college, what you do today in your child's life will help them take ownership of their faith so they can walk with Jesus when they leave the house.
Hey mamas, this is Playfully Faithful Parenting, and I'm your host, Joy Wendling. I'm a seminary grad and children's and family minister turned stay-at-home mom to my 5 girls. Spiritual parenting is my calling, and it's my passion to help other mamas disciple their kids using the power of play and their own authentic daily walk with Christ. If you're a mama who wants to introduce your kids to Jesus and watch as the Holy Spirit transforms their lives, this is the place for you. I'm so glad you're here. So let's dive in and see how we can partner with God today.
I know that you are a Christian mom who wants your kids to love and follow Jesus for the rest of their lives. And so today we're going to talk about how to use play to get your kids to own their faith so they don't let it go when they leave. Play today can help your child follow Jesus into adulthood. And let's just talk about what play is, what play isn't, and how it can help your kids' faith and how to help your kids own their faith so that they are not just walking in your faith, but owning and making their own path and building their own relationship with Jesus. The best way that we can understand something, engage in something, really get it is by being hands-on. And for example, I recently, just a couple weeks ago, started a YouTube channel. So some of you may be watching on YouTube and some of you are still listening in all your favorite places to find podcasts. And if you love to watch podcasts, you can now watch on Spotify and YouTube. My YouTube channel is Playfully Faithful Parenting. If you're watching there, subscribe, hit like, leave a comment, and tell me how you found me. The best way for me to learn and take ownership of this new YouTube channel is by being hands-on. I'm in it. I want to know how to edit videos. I want to know how to record. I want to know how to make my channel grow so that more moms feel equipped to disciple and discipline their children in a way that reflects God in the ups and downs of parenting. I want to know how to do those things so I can take ownership of my channel. And it's the same with our kids. They need to be able to take ownership of their own faith and not just be led and walking through your faith or your faith for your family. And so the best way for that is for your kids to get hands-on. And that is through play. God designed kids to learn through play. Play is active learning. In Psalm 92:5, it says that, "O Lord, what great works you do, and how deep are your thoughts." When we allow kids to play, we allow them to do great works and to think deeply. That is what play does for our kids. Fred Rogers says play is often talked about as if it were a relief from serious learning. But for children, play is serious learning. Our kids need to be able to get hands-on in ways that they choose. Last week, we talked about the benefits of choice for your kids' faith. And so that is one of the things that ties so tightly with play is self-chosen. If it's not self-chosen, it's not play. If somebody else is telling them what to do, it's not true free play. It's not going to have as many benefits. Now, playful activities can have some benefits, but they will not reap the same deep, meaningful rewards as true free play. Now, you might be asking, so what about can we do Bible story cartoons for play? You could, but they're not play. Bible story cartoons are, even if a kid chooses to watch it, they are still passive. And so they are entertainment. There's a big difference in benefit between play and entertainment. Play is fun. Entertainment can be fun, but play is active and engaging. Entertainment is more passive, and all the big games that we can play or crafts that we do, when we tell kids how to play and exactly what to do, that is all entertainment. It can be playful, but it is not true play and is not going to have quite the same benefits. So go back, watch last week's or listen to last week's episode and learn more about that power of self-chosen play and the benefits there. So there are two main ways that we can add play to our family discipleship. One, add faith to what your kids are already doing. I call this add faith to play. And the other one is add play to faith. So one, observing what your child is already doing and join in. This is through something called scaffolding. If you have any kind of education background, you may be familiar with this word scaffolding. Think about architecture, and scaffolding goes along the outside of a building to help you go the next level, to build the next layer. And so scaffolding with our kids is taking what they're already doing and helping them go just a little bit deeper. So it may be your children are playing with a boat and you are with them. Now, kids in independent play, we do not want to interrupt them all the time, because we grown-ups, parents, moms, we don't like to be interrupted, and neither do kids. So, one, we can learn to be more interruptible, but two, we can also learn that our kids don't like being interrupted either, and be careful to speak in a way and in a time that is not interrupting their deep, focused play. So, but say they're playing with a boat and you come alongside and you sit down quietly, you don't interrupt, and you wait until they make eye contact with you and they invite you in to the play. And at that moment, you might say, did you know that God once used a boat to save all the animals in the world and some people too? Or you can comment, oh, that's a really cool boat. Do you know one of my favorite stories of the Bible is about Jesus on a boat? He fell asleep and all of his friends got so scared when a storm came along. And then use that to add a faithful conversation and that discipleship piece to what your kids are already playing. Again, without interrupting. Or two, we can add play to faith. This is when we start with the discipleship piece and we add play to it. Now, we can add playful activities and playful elements, which is when we give more specific instructions that are fun. Or we can set an environment and allow the kids to then decide how to use the tools that we put out, the toys we put out, the supplies we put out, and let them guide the actual play. You set the environment, they guide the play. And so say you read a Bible story first, and then you invite them to play with Play-Doh. And you've got you've got animals and you've got the Play-Doh out, and you just see what they do. All right. So that is still play because we are just setting the environment and then allowing them to choose what and how to play. So this would be starting with the faith element, the Bible story, and then adding some playfulness to that. In my printables membership and also my discipline and discipleship membership, which gets all my monthly printables, I give you a month's worth of play invitations. So that's 4 a month. And I tell you a Bible story and then some tools, some supplies that you can set out how to create an environment that the kids can then choose how to play in that. And it is a fun thing for me to create. And for kids, my kids do all of these play invitations. So those are the 2 easiest ways to bring true play into our discipleship. And so just 3 little tips before you go and play with your kids. 1, observe your child. Watch them, see how they enjoy playing, and that will help you gauge how to set the environment, what tools. If your kids are really into watercolors, you're going to want to bring out watercolors more often. But maybe you experiment with different types of brushes or different things to paint on. Maybe you go and you get liquid watercolor as opposed to palette, like the solid watercolors. So there's some choice in there, some freedom, some creativity in there, but you watch your child and see what they like. In Parenting for Faith, a ministry out of the UK, they call this riding the waves. One of the great ways, that we as Christian moms can support our kids and their faith, helping them to grow spiritually, is by finding out what they already enjoy and helping them see how faith, how God, how the Bible is relevant and meaningful to them because of what they already created, who God created them to be, and they don't need to change who they are for God to want to be in their life or for it to be relevant for them. God created them with a purpose and intentionally, and they can like the things they like and still have a meaningful relationship with Jesus. And I think often kids don't understand that. That is not communicated to them. Tip number 2 we talked about is to plan the environment and then let your children choose what and how to play. And tip number 3 is let go of crafts. Unless your kids are planning them, let go of parent-directed crafts that have a specific product. Okay, every child, every one of your kids, or even if you have one kid, your kid making something step by step the way you teach them to do it is not helping them to understand the story anymore. Having them color the fish and loaves does not help them know the story any better. Play is how children process. There is one other quote from Mr. Rogers that I want to share with you, and it says, "Play gives children a chance to practice what they are learning." So if we tell them exactly what the craft is supposed to look like, they are not really processing and practicing what they are learning. So get rid of crafts. If kids love coloring sheets, my girls like to ask for specific coloring sheets, then that is fine, but it has to be child chosen, self-chosen, child-led play is where your child's spiritual growth is going to happen. When they have you walking alongside them, scaffolding, asking questions, supporting, encouraging, being curious with them, and speaking capability into them to have a meaningful relationship with Jesus. So if your kids do not know how to play in the ways that I'm suggesting, that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you or with your kids. Sometimes kids struggle, and sometimes play is a learned process. Please reach out to me. Let's set up a free coaching call and we can brainstorm some ways that we can help your kids develop better play skills. And then we can also see what it might look like to work together further. On behalf of God, thank you for loving and playing with his kids. Go and have a great week.
Well, mamas, that's it for today. Thanks for joining me on Playfully Faithful Parenting. I'd love to keep the conversation going over on the socials. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. If you felt encouraged or equipped by today's show, do me a favor and leave a review. I can't wait to hear your story. Till next week, keep playing and pointing those littles to Christ.